Hello, in this video I'm going to go over one of my favorite overland builds that I have created from using the two of the sets from the most recent DLC dungeon patch in update 45, the Fallen Banners DLC. So let's get into the gear. As you can see from my lower right hand part of the screen there, I'm using Tacticial Bladestorm along with Perfected Yandir's Might from Kind's Aegis. I'll go over that set in a little bit more in a minute. And then Orpheon's the Tactician Monster set. Now, for the subclassing skills, I'm running the Stormcaller from the Sorcerer to buff physical and shock damage. The Adric Spear line, because this is a very powerful skill line for DPS. It grants 12% critical damage when you just slot an ability from the skill line. When you activate the ability, you get Minor Berserk. Then you have the Burning Light passive, which does a lot of damage just on its own. And then we have an increase of 6% weapon damage in a pure passive as well. You don't even need to slot an ability to get this. So, and then I also have, lastly, the Gravelord's Sacrifice. Or excuse me, just Gravelords. This right here I use in content to add more damage. If you're going to parse on this build, then I don't recommend using this because major vulnerability is already present on the dummy, and so this will not help you in a parse. I am using on the back bar Gravelord's Sacrifice. This will increase damage over time by 15%. And then I'm also using the Skeletal Archer, which does physical damage and provides me with major brutality and sorcery. On the front bar, I'm using the Mystic Siphon Morph, and the reason why I'm using this instead of the detonating one is because Sorcerer buffs shock damage. So I get another 5% on top of this, plus I get recoveries from this while it's active, and while slotting it, I get an increase to damage by 3%. To go over my front bar here, I've got Quick Cloak, Blazing Spear, Biting Jabs, Whirling Blades, Mystic Siphon, and Flawless Dawnbreaker. My back bar is the Skeletal Archer with Gravelord's Sacrifice, Hurricane, Blockade of Storms, because again, shock damage gets buffed, and then Lightning Flood on the back bar. I'll go over this in a second. This basically procs both of the sets on the build. And then I have Everlasting Sweeps on here. Just trying this one out to see how it does, because it is physical damage, and it does damage over time based on how many enemies that you hit. I have parsed on the dummy here, and I've hit around 95,000 or so on the dummy, which is okay. It's not awesome. It's not anywhere near the beam builds, but it is a different build. I would say this is extremely fun to use in an overland scenario because the AoE damage on this is just so incredible. In case you don't know what these sets look like, I will show you them individually here. I will only proc, for example, on my front bar. I should probably go up over this setup as well. I have this set up the old school way, how builds used to be done. If you remember back in the meta of maybe the High Isle days, they had builds that were where you could wear a mythic, a monster, and 2 5-piece sets, and they did not have an arena weapon. This is how I have set up this build to try out and see what kind of damage I can get out of it, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's a fun build. So if you're looking for something different, this might be the ticket that you're looking for. So let's go over how I've got this set up. Now on the front bar, this is when you have Yandir's active. I have a dagger from each set on the front bar. So when you're on the front bar, Gerences only has 4 pieces active. When you're on the front bar, Yondir's is active. I may switch this to where I put 2 daggers on the front bar so that I get Yandir's to be active all the time. I'm not sure about how that's set up yet, but let's just go over the rest of this here. Gerences is active on the back bar, as I said. I make the jewelry from the trial set so that I don't have to go farm chromium platings or pay for them, because if you have the jewelry for the perfected version, you can just build this in gold. So I recommend that along with the mythic. Bloodthirsty weapon damage. I have Gerences on the boots, the gloves, and the waist. So those are my 3 always active pieces with the 1 dagger. And then I have a back bar lightning staff, as I said. And then Orpheon's Tactician is obviously on the shoulders and the head. The shoulders are light and the medium head, with Yandir's on the chest and the legs and the 2 rings. So Yandir's is always has 4 pieces active, and if you build like this where you're on the back bar, both sets will always have a 4-piece active on them, and so that's why I did that. But I will show you now what the sets look like. So if I am on my front bar, for example, Gerences is not active all the way, so it will not proc. So I'll just throw this blade here, and then you can see there's the tentacle from Tactician, and it's a pretty good set, I feel like. It's a good AoE physical damage, direct damage set. When you leave an effect on the ground, it will stun enemies for 3 seconds, and if they are not able to be stunned, then they take an additional physical damage instead. So this is going to hit really hard for anybody that's already been CC'd. And it hits in a 5-meter radius, as you could see. Now for the Gerences, I'll just unequip my helmet here so I don't proc it, and it'll be easier to see the Gerences here. I'll go into first person and I'll just land this on the ground. And there's the Gerences Bladestorm right there, as you can see. It's swirling around and it does quite a bit of damage. The only downside to that set, I would say, is that it has 2 lines of penetration. So it is kind of wasted on the dummy. However, if you're running around Overland, it makes it really nice to have that going on, because as you can see, I'm sitting here just standing still with no buffs, and I'm at 7,700 weapon damage, or excuse me, penetration. If I activate a Gravelord's ability to get that extra pen, then I'm up and over 11,000, so that makes burning through ads on Overland really easy. So basically all I do is I keep this Gravelords up, hit this on a buff on the enemies here, and I can usually get upwards of 40,000 damage over time per second with this group here. It's a really good set for ad pulls or just running around doing like public dungeons or something like that. It's very, very effective. I recommend trying it out if you want to. It's probably, I would say, decent enough for most trial situations. Like I've said, I've hit in the range of, and as you can see there, for the ad pulls, I've got 47, 48,000. Pretty good numbers for a build, in my opinion. For the champion tree, I've got Thermatug, Master at Arms, Biting Aura, and of course Exploiter with the shock damage going on. Just to give you an idea, buffed up what it looks like, I'll go over here and hit the dummy and get some damage going. Get the Yandirs procced up to 10 stacks here. And as you can see, I'm at 86,100 damage with 11,000 pen, and I'm up and over 45% crit, so that's pretty good damage there. For the food, I am running Candied Jester Skulls. This gives max stamina and magicka recovery. I tried Lava Foot Soup to start out, and I was having a little bit trouble with mag recovery, so if you use a stam potion with the Candied Jester Skulls, it's a really good fit, I think. It kind of plugs in both problems there. As you can see, my mag recovery is pretty good. If I hit my spell or my weapon potion there, then it kind of is just about even. I am a stamina build here with Thief Mundus Stone, and I am a Dark Elf Sorcerer Templar Necromancer. So that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please check out my channel and look at the other videos I have made. If you go onto my channel and go down into my playlists, I have created several playlists by content, and I have organized them by subject. So if you go in there and you look at, I've got tanks, DPS, healer stuff, trial stuff, PvP stuff, all kinds of stuff with the Elder Scrolls Online. Check it out, see if there's any other videos that interest you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.